So, Nolan, now it's your turn.
Thank you, Eva. All right. So we're talking about inclusive presentations. What does that mean, and where am I coming from? That's I want to sort of set that up. I am not a diversity and inclusion trainer. I don't yell at people on Twitter about using the wrong word. I'm probably always going to call my 3-year-old daughters "you guys." But where I do come from in this is as somebody who has been creating presentations for clients and for myself for decades, and finding that over this time, audiences have been changing. Right? Clearly, that we always should be audience centric. A presentation is not for the speaker; it's for the audience. And I've noticed that over the years, audiences have been changing. They're getting more diverse, obviously, and yet presentations are, not always keeping up with those audiences. So when we talk about inclusivity, to me, it's a huge topic that includes accessibility. We're going to talk a little bit about accessibility later today, but this whole thing is not just about that. It includes authenticity as well. Again, just being authentic and true to the audiences that you're talking to. Now, whenever we start talking about this thing, people get nervous. I get nervous. By the way, I'm going to make mistakes from an inclusivity, from an accessibility, from an authenticity perspective today. We always do, right? It's sort of impossible. But people get nervous, and I do as well, because we always feel like we're doing it wrong. We're not doing it right. Sometimes it's not even worth trying. But the thing I want you to take away from today, if you take away nothing else, is the phrase, a best faith effort. Now, my good friend Glenna Shaw gave this to me when I was struggling. I was doing an accessible document, not in PowerPoint, in InDesign for the U.S. military hospital system, right? So the big government thing had to be accessible, and I was sweating bullets. I'd never really done it before. She said, Nolan, the letter of the law, at least in the U.S., right? The legal, law says you must make a best faith effort. You don't have to be perfect. You have to make a best faith effort. And that's what I want everyone to do when we're thinking about making a presentation more inclusive. You're not going to get it right 100%. There is no 100% right? And people are going to disagree on this or that. Yes, there's some technical things which, we want to aspire to hit, but generally we want to make that best faith effort. So there. What does inclusivity mean, at least for today? What am I going to be talking about? Well, again, it includes lots of stuff, but specifically, I like to pay attention, and we're going to pay attention to race and ethnicity, gender and sex, age, language, ability. But specifically what we're going to cover related to all of those items, and there's not a one-to-one relationship here, but is slide design, imagery, delivery, language, and then 508 compliance. That's the U.S. law. I know every other country has different laws and terms for it, but the general accessibility term, that's the last thing we're going to try to cover. We're going to scratch the surface of it. We're going to scratch the surface on a lot of stuff today because it is a huge topic. But let's first start off by talking about designing slides for audiences, for all audiences. And the first type of audience, the main type of audience we're presenting to are human beings, right? So forget about abilities or disabilities or language or age. They're human beings, and human beings have human brains that want to look at slides like this. Now, I don't mean slides that are greasy and devoid of nutrition. I mean that the slides are glanceable. Now, I'm talking about on-screen presentations, live presentations, speaker-guided ones mostly. We're not really addressing the reports or print presentations. So on-screen speaker-guided presentations should be like a good billboard, understandable in just a few seconds, right? You shouldn't have to spend 30 seconds reading a billboard. You shouldn't have to spend 30 seconds reading a slide. So to achieve that, we need to do a few things. Again, a lot of things, but the three top line things are we want to really exploit and make use of what's called the PSE, which we're going to talk about in a second. We want to edit down our text as much as possible. human brains do not want to read lots of text. And we want to use more slides as well, and those will help with the first two items as well. So the PSE, that stands for the picture superiority effect. And I always, no matter what I'm talking about, whatever presentation topic I'm talking about, I'm going to find a way to talk about this, because essentially, I didn't make it up. It's a real scientific thing that says people process and remember information far better as images than they do as text.